Hi, I'm Danny, the ADHD medium, and today we're talking about timelines and a little bit of predictions for 2026. This is part one in a multi-part series that's to come. So buckle up because it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about timeline jumping, why so many astrologers and mediums got the 2024 predictions wrong. I want to go into what went wrong and a little bit of what's to come, and then in a part two and probably part three, because there's so much astrologically going on, that I will do extra parts for those, especially those of us with our ADHD, like give me 5-minute rundown. So I also made this mistake, and timing has been one of those irritating issues for me until recently. I'm very much a but why person. And when things don't go according to the plan that Spirit laid out in front of me, I ask why. Was it my interpretation? Was it their interpretation? How did everyone get that so wrong? I have been obsessed with timing and getting it correct. And then also the mechanics of mediumship and astrology. There has to be a reason. When people go, the prediction is wrong. So, oh, we timeline jumped, or it's just the current energies. Yes, you can read the current energy, but there's also different ways. A lot of astrologers simply looked at each candidate's chart, and based on their charts, who would win. Now, if you would have looked out, what are the themes of 2025 and 2026? What is the archetype or character? What does that leader look like for the United States? You could do this not only with the astrology, but you could do that with mediumship. You could do it with your tarot cards. And you go through and look at all the pieces around. Because if you only look at the one puzzle piece, that their energy, will they win? Will they not? You're looking at one piece. But when you go forward and you start looking, okay, what are the themes of 2025? What are the themes of 2026? Does this person, or looking at them as a character, do they fit the needs of 2025 and 2026? Looking at the astrology for the leader of the United States, you would find that this archetype or character is one under strain. They have difficulty sustaining long-term energy. They have signs of depletion and reduced functional capacity, or operating on borrowed time energy. The communication style of this next leader, when we were seeing in 2025, they have very erratic communication style. This character makes misstatements or contradictions, and there's high levels of misinformation or confusion surrounding them. So this particular leader rises for 2025, 2026, but they don't stay in power. If you look at the two different candidates we had for this time period, we can kind of see this one fits, the current one fits, the other one doesn't. Another thing that was in the archetype, the person coming into leadership is energetically divisive. They have a difficulty in unifying others, and they provoke intense reactions. It's not good or bad, it's the karmic signature for this time period. If you look at the two different characters that were available for the leadership of the United States for 2025 through 2026, from an astrological perspective, that's when this archetype ends their leadership. So looking at the timelines, and this doesn't go for all astrologers, but for the ones who got it wrong, had they looked ahead to see, okay, what's coming and what character do we need in place for this time frame, it would have been very clear to them who was going to take center stage and who was going to take that position. And it doesn't matter. Okay, so I don't want to go into details, but it's just to address the issue of a lot of people seeing Harris as the winner. And then different theories on what may have happened, which I'm not going to go into because that's not the purpose of this video. But if any of those theories are correct, and you asked Spirit the question, who is the winner? And that's what you saw, but then there's all this other information that hasn't been made public yet. There's a difference between, and it's not supposed to be that way, but for the purpose of the astrology, there's one clear type of person that needs to hold this office to create the catalysts that are coming and that we're currently going through, to be able to match those descriptions and click those into place like little puzzle pieces. The way that the astrology works is we have 3 different windows for this particular time period. And basically when the different planetaries align, it reminds me of like a light up map. As these planets come this way, certain items in your life or world stage come online, and it allows the energy of those things to happen. There are 3 windows, and this is also why a lot of people reading the energy of what's happening, that the energy is ready. And so for the removal of the archetype or the leader of the United States in 2026, from an astrological study, there are 3 windows. So if one window is weaker than the others, and we're coming up to the March-May window, the astrology shows destabilization, health issues, inability to perform sustained responsibilities. We're seeing that now with falling asleep in different meetings and just a lot less activity. During the March to May 2026 window, that's where the instability cracks start to peak. It'll intensify in that March to May window. If we start seeing people saying now's the time, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the strongest window for that possibility, but it is a possibility within that time. The particular character for this time period in leadership will have health issues and a lot of scandals around them and their position. The strongest window, July through August 2026. During this time frame, we'll see a lot of exposure of hidden issues, financial or ethical complications become visible, intensified public scrutiny, and increased institutional pressures. All of those things correlate with the removal or the withdrawal from this type of character from the system. That July to August window has the strongest astrological markers. When we're reading or sitting to gain information for predictions, we could ask, is this the only window of time this will happen? Is this the only time the energy is aligned? Is this a weaker energetic time for this, or is there another time where it might be shifted to? Window 3, the final window, that's October to December of 2026. And this is the final window. There isn't another window for removal of the leadership until I think it was like 2035. So for this presidential cycle, this is the last window where these health and the scandals, and it's multiple scandals, it's money, inappropriate relations with other countries, along with the health issues. And so there's the 3 windows of opportunity within 2026, and then after that there isn't. Based on the astrology, the rest of the universe needs to shift to create these things. There is not another alternative. There's not another timeline. There are small windows like that, but that's a whole nother video, and it's not for big items like this, where the direction of our country, social, cultural, and healthcare issues, and other things that I'll cover in part 2. This is the catalyst up top that allows all these other issues to happen. So it's not one that could be like, well, we could go this way or we could go that way. That was one thing that always irritated me. Like, it either is or it isn't, Spirit. Like, which one? Like, what's the point of doing any kind of astrology or predictive mediumship or cards if it's like, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You'll just have to wait and see. I should just put down my stuff and wait and see, because that's not an accurate answer. It's like a broken clock is right twice a day. I didn't want to have that in my mediumship or my astrology. I'm very stubborn, and let's figure this out, Spirit. What am I doing with timing? Because I was getting things way ahead of time. And it's like, okay, we have to do better with this. The reason why we had to have a character that could not last is because we're moving and transitioning. We are at the end of a karmic storyline. And as we move into the next one, we will see the ending of this activates a turnover chain, which is really interesting. The main character of the story that is currently in office, he is either removes or steps down. And then we have the chain of command, the VP comes in, and then he's not able to maintain stability. And so there is another turnover. The astrology describes the archetype as somebody who is more calm and centered, somebody who we necessarily wouldn't know, somebody who insiders would say would be a great choice, but not necessarily somebody who is boastful or in the public eye. And their job is to come in and be the calm center and kind of get us back on track, be the beginning of the cycle for what's to take place in 2028. So I'm going to stop here for today and make this part 1, and then I will go into more details for the future episodes and give us as complete picture as I can for 2026. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you next time.